Oh, gotta love starting the show with an old. Here we go. Just to twist that knife a little bit. As much as I would have appreciated the Cowboys winning, I don't feel sad seeing them lose either. But we're not going to talk too much about the Lions and the Cowboys today, because we are going to talk about the Packers and the Cardinals, and then the Packers and the Texans. So we are going to recap the Cardinals game and preview the Texans game. We don't have Simon this week. He is on some moose mission. Just kidding. He's actually doing stuff for the military, which is important. So we appreciate him for that. But no Simon this week. He'll be back next week. So we are going to cover the three of us for Simon's topics this week. So here we go.
Welcome to another live episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we discuss the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, Badgers football, and basketball from an optimistic perspective. Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
All right. So as previously mentioned, we are going to cover for Simon's topics. Simon's first topic is the defensive scheme. So, Bryant, I will let you give your first thoughts on the defensive scheme.
Yeah, I thought when we've seen it all year, I thought they did a really good job drawing up, containing a running quarterback. I said it was one of my bold predictions. 4 or 5 weeks, Murray had ran for 45 yards. He went for 7 rushes for 14 yards against us. That's for so and we had a lot of success. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think between Richardson, Hurts, and Murray, they combined for a total of like 70 rushing yards total against us.
I got the exact numbers right here. The exact numbers, they are 24 carries for 84 yards. That is an average of 3.5 yards per carry.
Yeah, so that's extremely well. So I thought they did a good job. I know people are concerned about the pass rush. Look, we knew coming in this wasn't going to be a big game for the pass rush. Now you are fair in your concern for the pass rush, but this game wouldn't be a good one to judge it on. It changed. The game plan obviously changed a little bit for the Arizona Cardinals pretty much right away when Marvin Harrison gets knocked out. Well, that was halfway through the second, but I thought overall, Job looked really good covering him at first. And then we didn't, either the Cardinals didn't want to, or we didn't allow them to throw deep on us. They just did not throw the ball down the field hardly at all. So overall, I thought it was a really good game plan by Halfley. I thought it was, once Murray wasn't going to do anything on the ground against us, and you can see Williams making that outstanding play, to stop him trying to run for first down there. I think it kind of put them out of their element, and they're in a little bit of trouble.
Jake, what do you think about the scheme?
Yeah, so when you play the Cardinals, the first thing you do is you worry about Kyler Murray's legs. We are going to talk about it, and that's really the focal point and really what was probably the lead in all the defensive meetings this week, right? So when you contain him, and one, you don't allow him to run for first downs or run for yards, and two, don't allow him to extend plays to allow receivers to come open, maybe get a defensive holding, PIs. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can happen when the quarterback can, start running around and stuff breaks down, right? You go with the sandlot backyard football type of style. Another thing that I wanted to give credit to was the turnovers. Again, 3 turnovers, all forced fumbles. Kenny recovered one. Williams with, oh my good God, this guy might be an all-pro player this year, dude. I mean, we're not gonna project next year or the year after that. He might be an all-pro this year. He's playing that good right now. He is locking people down. He's staying home on key third downs, which I'm going to talk about later. He's punching the ball out. I mean, he looks like a 10-year pro right now.
Yeah, I think if last week it was him and McKinney were, each of them were in the top 5 at PFF. This week they're 1 and 2 or something like that at the safety position. It's incredible what Goody has done to completely flip the safety position. He's playing so well, it's forced. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing blank. But our other safety into the slot, Ward into the slot, like that's great. We had conversations about who might be in the slot. Me and Tyler both thought that eventually Nixon would not be in the slot, and we're kind of already seeing that come to fruition a little bit. But that's because they are playing so well. They want them on the field.
Yeah, we'll talk about the secondary a little bit more because I have some interesting thoughts on what ended up happening with the snap counts. But Justin's got a couple comments in here.
I do want to say, Justin, I'm on the same page as you, and I'll eat crow. I said when we talked about there was 2 players. I was like, I thought we could have maybe drafted someone else in that position. And I said that about Hopper, which we don't know anything about him yet. And I said it about Evan Williams. I'm absolutely wrong about Williams. He has completely proven me wrong. He has played so well.
Nice. Yeah. Justin's got 2 comments here. One saying Murray looked like a toddler running from getting a diaper put on him. That's awesome.
So fitting.
Yeah. and that's okay. You can be wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. You can also, this is wild, but you can also change your opinions based on new evidence. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you like a backpedaler or anything like that. As long as you're doing it from oh no, I was saying this the whole time, or it's not a big deal to just be like, all right, I didn't think that was a good pick, but now seeing him play through 6 weeks, now it looks like a great pick, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's a reason I'm not a professional scout.
Yeah. So, as far as the scheme is concerned, you hit the nail on the head. Really, the big thing for me is containing the running quarterbacks, and that's what we've seen. And even though in the Eagles game they were able to get a few sacks, but that to me is almost more on the coverage than the pure pass rush ability of it, because they do talk about it in their meeting or their interviews and stuff, that the pass rush, that rushing the quarterback is different when you're playing a guy who's mobile. So that is the big thing. So Jake, just keep going on the same subject, talk about the pass rush.
Yeah, so pass rush. So 0 sacks, but I think Justin's comment really hit the nail on the head. Is they had Kyler Murray uncomfortable all day. Kyler Murray wasn't able to get into a rhythm. 0 sacks. We had 9 hurries. Wooden, Gary, and Clark both had 2. I mean, I vividly remember one play where Gary was literally snake chasing Kyler in the backfield, and Kyler just got away from him. And it was like, it wasn't for lack of effort from Gary, which I've seen people say lack of effort, which is absolutely ridiculous for Rashawn Gary. And then Walker, Slayton, Smith all had 1 apiece. So 9 hurries from the pass rush against this guy, Kyler Murray, who, if you watch the week prior, his run he had against the 49ers was amazing. Hit 21 miles per hour. He did that against the 49ers defense. Now, that's not a slouch. They do have injuries all over the field, the 49ers do. They were getting some people back last week.
They still have Fred Warner.
Yeah. They still have Fred Warner and they still have Nick Bosa. So, I mean, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care about the rest of your defense. You got 2 of the best players at their premier positions. That's going to set up your defense very well. And then they had 1 hit. So, I mean, they did a great job. They contained him. Bryant took some of my thunder, 7 carries of 14 yards. So that's just, honestly, you couldn't have asked for a better game, in my opinion, from the pass rush to contain him, keep him in the pocket, and keep him running. They had no rhythm. I mean, we forced punts on almost every other drive, it felt like, more than half drives, in my opinion. So they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and just carrying that into the defensive line. You brought up all the pressures already. Carl Brooks was actually the Packers' 2nd highest graded defender this week. He had the forced and recovered fumble. That was a great job by him to stay in that play. You brought up the pressures. The Packers only had 10 total. And again, they're playing the contain on the mobile quarterback. 9 of them came from the defensive line. And then looking at it, Kenny Clark did have 2 missed tackles, but it did seem like he was in the backfield consistently, which is something I'm going to talk about again later. So going into now the linebackers and the tackling, Bryant, what did you think about that?
Yeah, so kind of an interesting game by the linebackers. Obviously, they're part of containing Kyler. I think it was a pretty active game by the linebackers. They did total 25 tackles, but only 1 tackle for loss, so that was unfortunate. But I still feel like they did a good job somewhat containing the running game and really good job containing Kyler. So Edrin Cooper, I think, is quickly becoming where he's not going to be able to get taken off the field. I know we run into the problem with Quay Walker's the one calling a lot of the plays. I don't know how soon they want to switch that, or if they're going to switch that, or if it's going to be Quay losing snaps or McDuffie. All I know is that Edrin Cooper needs to be on the field more. Also, I called for a little more Eric Wilson. We got 14 snaps from him this week, and he played very well.
I thought he was good too. I like that call up.
He started. He was. I think I seen him on the first or second play of the game. He was in there helping on a run stop. So very good job by him. So I think Eric Wilson and Cooper probably played the better of the games. Coverage, and McDuffie and Quay in coverage are just god awful right now. And this is why I'm saying they need to do something. So Quay gave up 9 out of 11 completions for, I know you like this, but it's kind of bad, 69 yards.
I feel like he gets like caught in like the no man's land between being in a position to either like help the pass rush or actually get a hand on the ball. And I do think I haven't rewatched the game yet to clip plays, but like I don't know if it's just because the ball is going near his direction that it seems like he's being targeted 11 times. But to me, it didn't seem like he was being targeted. It almost just seems like he's like the nearest defender. So they're like,
I think he's struggling with some spatial awareness in zone or where he's supposed to be dropping and stuff. I think maybe he's staying too close to the line. I don't know what he's doing. I would rather have them catching the ball in front of him than behind him. I'll tell you that much. And then McDuffie gave up 2 of 3 for 22 yards. Cooper was 2 of 3, but only for 11 yards. So that's kind of a sign of, okay, I'm letting you catch the ball, but it's in front of me and you ain't gonna, you know what I mean? You're not gonna kill me with
yards
that.
after catch too.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as Yak, so Cooper after the catches only gave up 4 yards. McDuffie gave up 17 and Quay gave up 36. So that kind of goes into like how having them behind them, you know what I mean? So the last thing was the team did miss 8 tackles total. The linebackers accounted for 4 of them, but McDuffie had 3 missed tackles. So normally the strongest part of his game is tackling. He did have 3 missed tackles. Now, granted, when some of those are probably trying to get Kyler down in the backfield or at the line of scrimmage or Connor's a monster.
He's really underrated.
Man, he is a strong runner. So he was shedding some people too, but it was up and down. It's just in coverage right now. It is not good. And I don't know. I feel like they're going to eventually need to make a bigger change, but I think it could come with. I won't be. It all depends if they feel comfortable with Quay not making the calls.
I think that's probably more of an off-season thing, in my opinion.
So I think it'll be McDuffie coming off the field, if anything, a little.
And that's what it's been. The snap counts, we posted those on Monday. Adrian Cooper played 38. Isaiah McDuffie only played 26.
Yep.
So there is the difference there.
Yep. And it's gone up every week. So
it has. Yep.
And I'm glad that it wasn't at. I'm glad that Eric Wilson got some more snaps, and I want to see. I think 15 to 20 snaps a game is like a nice spot for Eric Wilson.
Yep, I'm fine with that. The other thing I was going to say is Adrian Cooper didn't play any preseason, so we can't just be like, oh my God, McDuffie shouldn't have been getting snaps since week 1. Adrian Cooper spent a lot of training camp and preseason injured, so like it's not just going to be like, oh, yep, we're going to throw the rookie in there. Like, got to give these things a little bit of time. When we're in week 6 and he's getting 12 more snaps than the starter from week 1.
Well, and in my opinion, I still think Cooper was able to play more because they had to pass more and were able to rush a little bit more. And Cooper's a much better pass rusher at this point than McDuffie is. If we're in a ground and pound type of game, I think McDuffie's going to get more snaps because he is more of the thumper. Now,
sure, but
he's a sure tackler in the hole. He really is.
But in the hole, but Cooper can cover more ground, and that's where
he can. But if it's a straight north and south type game, I would still pick McDuffie. Yeah. I know that it's close right now. You know, we get to this point next year, it's going to be Cooper all day because Cooper is going to obviously develop and get much better. But I don't want to throw too much on his plate where it's just going to be too much for him at this point.
What about a game like this?
I think that's kind of what Tyler was dancing around.
Yeah. What about a game like this weekend? We can get into it, but a game like this weekend where you have Mixon, who's a very good running back, but a lot of his stuff, he breaks it outside. So do you want McDuffie in that situation or do you want Adrian Cooper? I want Adrian Cooper.
See, and I'm okay with McDuffie in there because, again, when we're talking about tackling, like I trust him in an open field situation.
Me too. He's been pretty good in open field, honestly. Just not past coverage open field.
Right. Okay. Jake, actually, Justin said development can be key with young players. Glad the Packers understand that. Good. The Packers definitely understand that.
We've been good for a
quarterback position. All right, Jake. 3rd and 4th down.
3rd and 4th down. Man, what an exciting topic I got this week. Both ends of the football. Thank
you. A lot more exciting than last week.
Yeah, I was begging for a good week on 3rd downs on both ends. So 3rd down, we let them go 4 for 10, and all of their 3rd down conversions. There was a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 3, and a 3rd and 1. Everything else, get your ass off the field. Get your ass off the field. So They did a nice job, first of all, not allowing that many opportunities from that short. I mean, 5 opportunities. That's half your opportunities, right? You expect an NFL team to have half their opportunities from 3rd and 5 and in, right? That's my opinion. But to everything over 3rd and 5, to literally just shut that shit down and be like, yeah, you're not going to gain more than 5 yards on us, that really gives me hope and shows me what this defense can do. I still think, oh, man, this team has crazy potential. I think the offense has another gear or two, and I think the defense has another 2 or 3 gears that they can hit. I really firmly believe that.
Mhm.
If they can learn how to cover the middle of the field and they stay a sure tackling team in the open field, dude, continuing to force the turnovers that they have, they've been good on 3rd downs all season long. I can't complain about it. This team could win the Super Bowl. I think people really need to realize that we were playing without Jordan Love for 2 weeks, and we're still 4-2.
Yep.
That's ridiculous, dude. So just wanted to give credit. We already did, but have to say it again. Williams with the stop on Kyler on 3rd down. What a freaking play, dude. What a freaking play.
Just jump into the secondary. Jake, any other thoughts you want to give on that subject?
Dude, having Jair back for this secondary is so night and day, it's not even funny. It's not even funny how good Eric Stokes is. It's like when you talk about wide receivers, right? This guy's an okay wide receiver too, right? He's a pretty good wide receiver too. He's not a wide receiver 1. That's exactly how I feel about Eric Stokes as a cornerback. He's a pretty good cornerback too. He can have really good days as a CB2.
He's
He is not a CB1.
Great
not at all.
cornerback 3. If
the good thing about that Evan Williams play too is it was like 3rd and 1 there. I think he stopped him for like a yard or 2 loss too. So it's like they pretty much couldn't go for it on 4th down if they wanted to.
I mean, you got to give credit to the D line though too. Everybody kind of stayed home. Everybody strung that along very nicely. They all hit their gaps. Linebackers were doing their thing. Everybody was a hat on a hat, and they trusted that Williams was on the end of the line. That's the biggest thing for me is the trust. This is a team game, right? So to trust that the rookie's going to stay home and understand the play to make, and he made it. Oh my goodness, dude! You can't say enough good things about Evan Williams right now.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have thoughts on the secondary?
A little bit. I'm really loving Evan Williams and Bullard in the slot. It's going to be interesting. I know Bullard. We haven't played a team with a super explosive slot player yet, so this will be a challenge. It'll be interesting to see what they do this week against Texans with like Tank Dell. I like it. I do want to see more Carrington Valentine on the field. I think he's been probably better than Stokes. I think Stokes was burnt for a touchdown that they just didn't complete it. I think Stokes has struggled a little bit. Jair, great to have him back. They weren't throwing deep, it's not that they haven't wanted to throw deep this year. I feel like McKinney is starting to cause teams to be like, I don't know that we should throw deep against him because he's going to be there. So it's going to be really interesting to watch what, I know Houston won't have Nico Collins, who they go deep to a lot, but I have a feeling this week they're still going to want to go deep and that McKinney will have a chance to make some plays on the ball again. So what happens. But overall in this game, I thought they did a great job. Other than in the linebackers struggling in coverage. So they got to find a way to not let, tight ends absolutely slaughter us.
Yeah. Justin brought it up again. McKinney and Williams, number 1 and number 2 safeties in the league this week per PFF. Yes, they were. And they were both fantastic. And looking at it, we do need Carrington Valentine back. So when Jake was talking about Stokes being a really good cornerback 2, I love him even more as a potential cornerback 3.
Well, Valentine played this week. He just didn't get any snaps. He was suited up. It was kind of weird.
And I think that's more like how they did with Musgrave last week, where he was almost like an emergency type thing. Where if say Stokes were to get hurt, or
that's a good point.
So that's
Nixon on the outside has held his own for the most part.
Yeah. I don't dislike Valentine. He was not targeted this week. He played 1 coverage snap. So I do think on the subject of the secondary, we are lauding Evan Williams for his performance, and rightfully so. I think there just needs to be a little bit more credit given to Javon Bullard, who is now starting at his 2nd position in his 6th career week of NFL football.
Yeah.
He is 6 weeks into his NFL career, and he started at 2 different positions already.
Wonder why the guy was a 2nd rounder, huh?
Oh, yeah, I wonder. Just switch the G color and come on over.
Right.
But looking at it, Jair Alexander was back. He gave up 1 catch on 3 targets. He was fantastic. Keyshawn Nixon was really good. He played 27. Sorry, that's the longest play that he gave up. Was 27 yards. He played. I'm trying to find where he was lined up. Played 38 snaps, and I just want to find out where exactly he was because he lined up on the outside a lot. 48 of his snaps out of the 58. So he played 48 out of 58 of the snaps on the outside. So they moved Bullard in to take Nixon out of the slot, and then Nixon just like, yeah, I'm just going to be a good outside corner.
Honestly, I think his speed is helping him there because in the slot you don't have quite as much time to react. On the outside, that ball has to travel just a little bit further, and I'm wondering if that's not helping him a little bit.
Yeah,
I know that's me completely spitballing, but he seems different on the outside than he has in the slot.
Well, a lot less traffic to work through as well, in my opinion. You don't have to run into linebackers, tight ends, mesh routes are a big thing with slot corners. That's a tough thing to do. I think Bullard is built for that a little bit more. He's kind of a little bit more compact and he's quick. So,
and I like him being close to the line when it's a run play.
Yep, we talked about that last week. Jake and I had a play breakdown of him making a play in the run game on like the second play of the game or something like that. But the thing with it is too, and Jake said the word quick. We know that Keyshawn Nixon is fast, but there's a difference between being quick and fast. And the quickness is like the change of direction, the quicker feet. That's what we've always talked about with like Devontae Adams. He's quick and fast. So we've talked about that, and I think Bullard has that quickness where maybe Keyshawn Nixon is more just downhill speed.
Yeah.
All right. Jake, how did the red zone defense do?
Finally a week where I'm just like, yes, we hit on all phases. 1 for 3 in the red zone for the Cardinals this week. Absolutely phenomenal. So first drive, they had 1st and goal at the 10. Connor went for 9. There was a holding call, and then Kyler hit Wilson for that touchdown. That was the touchdown that they got. After that, they had a 3rd and 20. Kyler finds Wilson. 3rd and 2. He finds Wilson for 3 yards. Then they had a 1st and 10. Kyler was incomplete. Then Kyler completed a pass for 9 yards, and there was a false start on a 3rd and 1, and then Kyler incomplete for Wilson, and they held him to a field goal. So that's just bend, don't break defense. That's fantastic. Then their last drive, Kyler hit Dorsch for 15 yards. Then Kyler completed another pass for 4 yards, and then he ran for 5. There was a holding on Arizona again, and then they had a 2nd 11 at the 18. There was a forced fumble by Kyler Murray, and then recovered by Kenny Clark. So I keep saying recovered by Kenny Clark because I'm sick and tired of people throwing dirt on his name as well. But they forced a turnover, held him to a field goal, and gave up 1 touchdown. So honestly, I'm happy with that. If you hold teams to 1 for 3 in the red zone, you're going to win a lot of football games.
That's a great percentage. All right, Bryant, go ahead and talk about the special teams, and you can just save the news for the preview part of it, but just do the recap and where you wanted to go from here.
Yeah, so obviously we missed another field goal. We'll talk about that in the preview. We'll get more into the signing and all that stuff. But I think everyone has patience ran out with Narvison. So unfortunately, he missed another field goal, a very makeable field goal. That's 5 on the year. It just hurts our team. Luckily, it didn't hurt us this week. But you could argue that we probably should have at least won one of the 2 that we've lost if the kicker's doing his job. So a lot of it had to do. We can talk about all in the preview. I will say that I was so close, so close that we're getting my bold prediction where Simon's like, no chance. Nixon was so close. It was a missed block. He's returning that putt for a touchdown if that guy blocks the kicker. And you can see that I don't know who the player was, but he put his hands on his head. He's like, are you kidding me? I can't believe I didn't get there to block this player. Because Nixon was going to house that thing. So I liked Nixon back at punt returner. And honestly, I think that's where they should. For one, it gives him a chance to use his explosive return abilities. 2, it's going to protect Jaden Reed, who hurt his ankle a little bit on that return. Jaden Reed's a fine returner. Nixon brings a whole different level. I'll say so. I hope they move forward with Nixon as punt returner. The only thing I worry about Nixon is punt returning. Yes, he catches the ball weird. My only concern is that he's such a stubborn bastard and wants to return the ball that the defender could be standing in his face ready to just lay him out, and he's going to try to return it. So as long as they go to him and be like, Nixon, we get it that you want to return every single one. Make sure it's one that the defender's not, within 5 to 7 yards of you, and you have a chance to make a move. Because otherwise, I don't care who you are. If someone's ready to pound you right when you're about to catch a ball, it's going to be a fumble a lot of the time. So, but I do think I want Keyshawn Nixon to stay as a punt returner because he just has that explosive ability that he can take that thing to the house. So, not that Jaden Reed doesn't have it, but if you told me you're going to either lose Jaden Reed to an injury during a punt return or Nixon, not that we want to see anyone injured, but I'm pretty sure all of us are taking probably we would want to keep Jaden Reed on the offense because of his importance. Not that Nixon hasn't started to be pretty important to the defense as well, but aside from, how that, I just think Nixon has a chance to be more explosive. Also you have to think about the increased exposure. So that's where I would kind of like to take a read off of that, because he takes a lot of hard hits as it is receiving the ball. I don't know what it is. He's a smaller, compact player, just gets hit hard. He pops up from him most of the time, but we probably want to take that away from happening on punt returns.
So I'm going to say exactly what I think you're trying to say is it's easier to replace Keyshawn Nixon's productivity on the team than it is to replace Jaden Reed's.
Yeah, right? That's a good way to summarize that.
If you didn't say to take Jaden Reed off punt return, I was going to say it. I'm so happy that you said it because I was like, dude, why is 11 on the field? Why is 11 catching this punt right now? Get him off the field. Bubble wrap him on the sideline right now. He's too important to this offense.
Yeah. And Nixon was so close to housing that thing. If there's a block there, he's gone. And I get to have Tyler clip that of Simon literally laughing out loud when I said that Nixon would have a 50-yard return. It would have been a great clip, but unfortunately we're 11 yards short. So
I'm looking to see who missed the block right now. It is Colby Wooden.
Oh. Is he blocking on punt returns way down the field?
He was on the line for the punt block.
So, but hopefully that showed something, and hopefully Nixon goes to Basashi and be like, and they can talk, and Nixon will be like, I promise I won't catch the ball over my head like this anymore, and I won't do some crazy things, and I'll be smart with it, but I want to return the damn ball.
Yeah.
And because there's been plenty of chances for punt returns this year. Because a lot of times you see teams just wanting to boom the crap out of that thing.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Justin said every team has that one staple player, and ours is Kenny Clark. He's not a top player at the position, but he's solid and reliable.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think we're going to have some. I'm just going to pause on Kenny Clark right there. I have things to say later.
Oh, and we only got one punt. I'd love to have him get the whole day off, but he only had to do it once.
Yeah, I'm fine. Justin said Reed returning kickoffs is okay. Punt returns is a scary thing. Honestly, if we're talking kickoffs, like just put Bull Melton back there with Nixon. Nixon's going to be the one catching the ball anyways.
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay. So going into the coaching now, I have thoughts. So looking at the last 2 weeks, the third quarter production. The last 2 weeks of the third quarters being the Rams and the Cardinals games, the Packers have 5 takeaways and 21 points in the third quarters.
Damn.
Matt LaFleur has this team ready coming out of halftime.
I like it.
Also, Matt LaFleur, people are all like, oh, Dan Campbell does all these fun things. Dog, Matt LaFleur was toying with the Cardinals. He was playing with his food. Tucker Kraft motioned in and took a fucking quarterback sneak. Matt LaFleur was messing with the Cardinals. He's just like, we know you're better. We know we're better than you. We're gonna have our tight end. Our one good tight end. No disrespect to Ben Sims. Our one good healthy tight end. We're gonna have him come take a QB sneak and get us the yard that we need.
Yeah.
Like Matt LaFleur was just messing around at this point. So looking at it, the Packers, this is a tale of two halves to continue on the half by half thing. Packers outscored Arizona 24-10 in the first half. Could have easily been 27 or 31-7. Obviously, we had the unfortunate interception. We'll talk about that when we talk about Jordan Love. And they outscored the second half Cardinals 10-3. So they won both halves, even when heading into halftime with a 2-score lead. Yep. So good to see that. And then time of possession. They won time of possession 36.5 minutes to 23.5 minutes.
Hell yeah, I'm so happy you brought that up. I looked at that too. That was one of the
they hardly had the ball. Like Cardinals hardly touched the ball in the first quarter. I think they had a 3-and-out, and that was it, if I'm not mistaken, or pretty much close to that.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I think they went 3-0 in the first 2 drives they had the ball. So
yeah, and just the sustained drives, I think they had three drives that were over 10 plays. So it's good to see that. As for the quarter-to-quarter thing, Matt LaFleur keeps talking about it. Their importance of playing 4 sustained quarters, playing a complete game of complementary football, offense and defense. And I think that is the thing where Jake is like, this team's capable of winning a Super Bowl when they are playing the way that they have the last 2 weeks of complementary football on both sides of the ball, and as they have been with Jordan Love. And again, we're going to talk about Jordan Love in a minute when we get to the offense. But Darian said people always undermine how creative Matt LaFleur can be, especially on the tail of 2 different halves concepts. I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think the 2 Malik Willis games kind of started to be like, okay, like this Matt LaFleur dude can coach. So it's good to see him starting to get that. Justin said, I bet you my paycheck that the Lions don't throw a touchdown to a lineman against us. Nope, that can only happen to the Cowboys.
No, they actually have to respect their opponent when they play us. The Cowboys lack toughness, dude. They're freaking bad this year.
Yeah, which is funny. Okay, so going to the tight ends, I know I just kind of threw Ben Sims under the bus a little bit, but looking at the tight ends, Bryant, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought Ben Sims actually had a nice game. If we'll talk about the one throw, but a really good job to catch the one kind of iffy throw by Love all game, a little bit low. Really good concentration job catching that. He would have had a chance for maybe, like, people are like, oh, he got a house it. If no, he wouldn't have. Buda Baker is not letting that tight end get much more than maybe 5 or 8 more yards. So good play by him. Tucker Kraft, he balls no matter what. Even though he wasn't like crazy involved this game, he I thought he did really well. I think there was one play where a defensive lineman made a really good play to swat the ball down. Otherwise, we're going to see Tucker Kraft probably run over a couple of people because he was coming down through the flat and
dribble somebody.
Yeah, he was going to smoke somebody, but he just contributes week in and week out.
Yeah. So looking at the tight ends, Sims was the better blocker, but they were both fine in blocking. Neither one of them gave up any pressures or anything. So Justin said the tight ends had another good run blocking week.
Tucker actually struggled a little bit in that, I think, if I'm not
looking
mistaken.
at it, kind of looks like they both were not the best. Ben Sims is the 13th highest graded run blocker, and Tucker Kraft is 15th
on the team. Yeah, so they struggle a little bit, but just getting in the way is good.
Shout out Andrew Beck, who was the second highest graded run blocker on the team in the 5 blocking snaps that he played. Good for him.
Dude, I was going to bring that up. The Packers used a fullback. Do you understand that we are turning into the San Francisco 49ers right now?
Oh, man.
Jaden Reed is our Debo. We're using a freaking fullback. We're using motion more than anybody in the league. We're flinging the ball to 8, 9, 10 players every freaking game. The defense is flying around looking terrifying, forcing turnovers, smacking people. We are turning into the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Feel the deal on like they did.
I mean, hopefully our coach doesn't freaking blow it in the Super Bowl like theirs does. But
twice.
Yeah.
Gotta get there first, but yeah.
So I'm gonna give my thoughts on the tight ends real quick. I thought Sims was good. He caught both of his targets. He was fine. I thought that Tucker Kraft was okay. He doesn't have to be a rock star. He's not a number 1 tight end. He's not like a top 5 tight end in the NFL, but he does his job. He comes to work. He does his dirty work. He says he's going to burn down your childhood home. He says he wakes up on Sunday ready to rip your face off. I mean, the mentality this guy comes to work with is enough for me to love him and want him on my football team. So I was fine with the tight ends. I don't think I've had a game this year where I'm just like, yeah, our tight ends suck. Our tight end room is good. Every position group on this team has talent. and depth, and it's scary for the rest of the NFL.
Yeah, I just want to pull it up and see because I don't know if I quite agree on it, but Tucker Kraft is currently 8th in yards by tight ends.
Holy shit! What?
Yeah,
he is tied for second in touchdowns.
Tight ends aren't having a big year. Think about it. Mark
Andrews.
It's a really bad year for tight ends. He had a slow year start, so yeah.
So he's tied for second in touchdowns. Yeah, he still far and away leads. Oh, no, sorry, second in yards after the catch to only Brock Bowers.
Interesting.
So, very good job by Tucker Kraft. He's I'd say a top 10 tight end currently. Justin said he dribbles your head off the ground. Afam said Ben Sims looked faster than some Olympians.
Maybe the shot putter.
Top speed is. I could look it up. While Bryant talks about the wide receivers.
Yeah, so I thought it was a very, very probably the best game of the year so far by the wide receivers. No drops. The ball got spread all over the place. Reed 6 for 6. He only had 28 yards or 26 yards, but one was for a touchdown, 2 other ones for first downs. And then Watson comes right back into the loop, has that big touchdown down the field. And then we have Dobbs coming back, returning, making 2 really great hands catches or body control catches for 2 touchdowns. But I think my favorite part of the whole game was when Dobbs scored that first touchdown and everyone just came around him and hugged him. To me, that's the epitome of that wide receiver room and the team as a whole. Dobbs had a bad week. He's talked about it. He's talked about the fact that it was overblown compared to what actually happened. And he had some personal stuff going on. Shocker. I know everyone overreacted. We told you not to. And it's none of your business to know exactly what was going on. It's all you should care about is the fact that he was on the field on Sunday and he got 2 touchdowns for us.
Yep.
Because if it would have been an injury and he missed one game, it would have been no big deal. But because he had some personal or mental health things going on, people, automatically jump to he didn't get enough targets. There probably some smoke to that fire, but I think it's a small amount of it. It might be one timber on the fire, right? Not the whole thing. So all I cared about is the fact that he was back on that field and they embraced him. Yeah. Good point, Justin. People saying, he didn't smile. He didn't celebrate like crazy. Romeo Dobbs hardly ever. There's very few times he shows fire. He did it, I think, in the Cowboys playoff game because he was just destroying them. I think he showed a little bit of fired up or whatever. He showed it a couple weeks ago when he slammed his helmet on the ground, but that was because he was frustrated with himself because he dropped an interception or a ball that went into an interception. There's very few games that I don't know that I've ever seen him do a Lambeau leap, or maybe he has, but he's just not as, what's up, Reggie? It's not as often as other wide receiver. He's not a demonstrative person. He is you can tell when he interviews that he's very uncomfortable with the whole situation. He is to himself, and that's how he wants to be, and I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm. Justin asked, ever wonder if maybe he's just humble? That absolutely, I'm sure, is a piece of his puzzle.
Yeah.
I think you could also say he's introverted, he's reserved. You can say all those things. And some people just don't like to tell you everything that's going on with their lives. If we're looking at it from the mental health aspect, I can 1000% relate to that.
Yeah, he just struggles with public speaking.
Yeah, there's not a lot of scenarios where it's like, I'm in a rush to go tell the entire country about my feelings. Like, I get it, and I don't think that should be expected. I think people saying who are saying things like, it's just an excuse to distract you from whatever is going on. It's like, no, they're just not going to tell you everything because, like Brian just said, it's not your business. You don't need to know exactly what it is that's happening. Just because they're not telling you exactly what it is that's happening doesn't mean that there's something bigger happening.
Would you rather him be frustrated with his role and kind of happen what happened this week? Or would you rather him be like someone like crazy on the other side of the spectrum, like Antonio Brown, who takes his jersey off in the middle of the game and walks off the field? Or CeeDee Lamb, you're starting to see show a lot of frustration, almost like he's on an episode of The Office looking at the camera and just smiling and shrugging because Dak didn't throw the ball high enough for him. Or you have, other wide receivers that are complaining openly about their targets and everything. Or Pickett in Pittsburgh that is writing stuff on his eye black, getting him fined and everything else. Like, put it in perspective a little bit, and you're probably like, okay, maybe that wasn't so bad, or maybe it's better that he's to himself and he handles it privately, and he admitted not the best way, versus the other side. Exactly, Justin, like Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, he said that he wished he had handled it differently. All that means is that he just needed to handle a situation. It's not like there's this big conspiracy going on. Like, take the tinfoil hat off. He is a third-year player, so it's not like he's got all the experience in the world, and he's never had an issue like this. So it's not like he's got a wealth of experience to be like, okay, when I'm having a personal problem, I need to tell this person and this person so that people know what's going on.
His parents were in and out of prison when he was growing up. This guy has never had a support system. He probably didn't fully understand how to use it and go to the Packers and be like, I'm struggling right now. Yeah. So he did it the best way he thought that he could do it. And it wasn't the best, and he learned from it, and that's all that matters.
Exactly. And came back and had a good game. His teammates all embraced him. And that's all you can ask for. And I think that goes a long way to show the culture. Adarian said the same thing. I'm also happy about the family embracing kind of vibe and the atmosphere from the team, as anyone would love to see a united front in Green Bay. And absolutely. And that's part of what being, a Green Bay Packer, even a Wisconsinite in general, is about embracing your fellow people. So
yeah, that shit almost made me tear up, dude. I was so happy for him, man. I was like, seriously, like, oh man, I was like,
when they were
bro, like these are boys, man. Like, he needed that, man. I think the team needed that. I think that was a good moment, man.
Yeah, getting everybody in there for the group hug was a wholesome. We'll say
good way to wrap it up.
So looking at the passing game distribution, another week, another game where Jordan Love is just spreading the ball out to everybody. 9 different players targeted. All 9 players had receptions. Ben Sims got into the action this week, like we talked about. Thought being Wisconsin, I was just about drinking. No, that's the pastime.
Yeah, hey, I like that.
Jaden Reed had 6 targets. He had 6 catches, only had 28 yards, but did have the touchdown. He kind of played the possession receiver role this week. But then Kraft, Dobbs, and Watson all had 4 targets each. Dobbs, in his return, had 3 catches for 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Watson, in his return, both of them being back in the lineup this week helps, had 3 catches for 68 yards and a touchdown. And we're going to get to that, Reggie. We're going to talk about Jordan Love in just a second.
Calm down, Reggie. Calm down.
Yeah, Jordan Love gets his own segment.
Yeah, calm
down. This is just all the guys that Jordan Love's throwing the ball to. Yeah. So I know I posted this, that those two being back had 6 catches, 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards between them. The Green Bay Packers wide receiver room is better with them in it. I think if we have both of those guys against the Rams, it's not a 5-point win. It's probably like a 15-point win. Justin asked, do we know where we rank as a team in pass distribution overall? I could look that up for next week. I will write that down to put that in my notes for next week to find out where exactly they rank in distribution. I am 1,000% confident that they're probably in the top 3. I'd be comfortable saying that.
Reggie, totally understandable. We all love some Jordan Love. I mean, I named my dog after the guy.
I have a kitten that I named Romeo, so
I mean, and we're best friends, so I mean, hey, it all makes sense.
Got that going on. Looking at it, no drops this week, which is a big thing. Love that. Yes. Even though Dontavian Wicks did leave the game early, he also still had 3 targets. Now, looking at the distribution of where the targets went, Justin said 8 to 9 players catching a pass every week is awesome. Jordan Love has still not targeted fewer than 7 players in a game that he's played, so keep that trend going. Jordan Love was 1 for 3 on 20-plus yard throws. That was the touchdown to Christian Watson. We're going to talk about that more when we get to Jordan Love. He was 4 for 5 on 10 to 19-yard passes. That is where he struggled at times last year, was that intermediate ball. Obviously the deep ball, but the intermediate ones were some of the ones that he struggled with last year. That 4 for 5 from the 10 to 19-yard mark, he had a perfect passer rating in that line. So love that. He was also 11 for 15 on 0 to 9-yard throws, and then 6 for 6 behind the line of scrimmage. You really can't ask for anything more from Jordan Love in the distribution. So going into the offensive line, I'll go back to Bryant.
Yeah, so I thought that obviously when you leave a game with 0 sacks, they've had a pretty solid game in the pass rushing game. I do think they left a lot to be desired in the run blocking game still. If you're going off PFF scores for the 6 linemen, because Morgan did rotate in again, for the 6 linemen had below average run blocking grades, but 4 of the 6 linemen had above average pass blocking grades. I think, Love had all day to stand back there and throw the ball pretty much. So it was great to see him stay clean the whole game. I do think Rashid and Myers did struggle a little bit this game. They had subpar games. They allowed 7 hurries combined. Also, the O-line committed 4 penalties, so that's got to get cleaned up. We do, like I said, we need to get better at run blocking. They have been really good at picking up the blitz, though. So Cardinals blitzed 12 times this game. They didn't get a pressure on a single one of them. So the fact that they're picking up the stunts and those blitzes, that's where you can see those really big plays get made because they don't get home. So very good job by the Packers offensive line there, and they're going to need it this week again. So.
Adarian said people kept complaining about Christian Watson being hurt a lot, but I always defend him as he always makes a difference when he's healthy and on the field, able to make the big plays when he can. And this year, the injury that happened to him wasn't his fault.
Yeah. Nope. And he's an outstanding run blocker.
He just looks different this year. There's something. He's more confident this year. And the crazy part is he only has. I didn't talk about this when I talk about the wide receivers. He only has 8 receptions in the year. You haven't, but he's just making such a bigger impact than what feels like 8 receptions. He's got 8 receptions, 2 of them went for touchdown, but his run blocking is insane every game.
Yeah, it is.
He's a touchdown threat from literally everywhere on the field.
Yeah.
Because it's not even like you take away the deep ball. Like if the Packers get in the red zone, he's also
let this team get in their full groove. You're going to see a lot of big completions to Watson.
Yeah. Okay, so going into the run game, that is the one that Simon normally carries himself. But we made another post about this, that Josh Jacobs, yes, part of this is due to the volume. And we've talked about that as well. But looking where Josh Jacobs ranks, he's 5th in yards. He's 9th in yards per game. He's tied for 9th in missed tackles forced. He's 3rd in yards after contact. He's tied for 3rd in 10-plus yard runs, and he's tied for 8th in total first downs. So, he's still very much helping the offense. Yeah. And the best ability is availability.
Yeah. And like we said, the O-line has not been that good.
Right.
So and run blocking, I should say.
Yeah. John from Lombardi Time Brews, who I was watching his show a little bit earlier, does a great show as well. He thinks Myers being out may have given us a preview future of the O-line: Walker, Ryan, Jenkins, Morgan, Tom for the 2025 line.
I think so too. Fortunately, Myers did come back in this game, but I do think John's probably right on. I do think that's probably where we're heading, unless there's a big center that falls to us in the draft or something. That'll always throw a wrench into things. But I think I would feel probably pretty comfortable if that was the line tomorrow. Like if we had a game tomorrow and that was going to be who we were rolling out, I think I'd feel okay.
I think in the offseason too, we might get another chance where Zach Tom maybe gets a chance to play some center.
Darian, I think Jacob Monk, they would want a game plan for him to play. I don't think they want to throw him in the middle of the game if they can avoid it.
Right. Okay. JR said, I like Jacob's compliment with Wilson. He's doing very well. Absolutely. Justin said we can have a top 2 defense in the league. No doubt we can stop he's talking about Matthew asking if we can stop the Texans. We're going to preview that game as well.
Did you see how many players had rushing attempts in this game? There's 7. 7 different players had a rushing attempt this game. So that was kind of nice to see too. Talk about distribution in the pass game. Having 7 different people get a carry in this game is also pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think 4.7 yards per rush is what I really take away from this game. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And again, shout out Tucker Kraft. That dude runs QB sneaks like crazy.
Yeah, one of his assists, but still.
Dude,
that was awesome.
Did you guys watch that USC Penn State game?
I didn't get a chance to.
Bro, the tight end for Penn State.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that play they ran? First of all, he took like 4. I have to tell this. He took like 4 snaps at quarterback. He threw a pass. So they put him at quarterback. He goes like this, tells everybody to go, right? He goes on the line to snap the ball. The whole offensive line's on his right side.
Oh, I seen this.
The ball to the backup quarterback. The backup quarterback throws it to the starting quarterback who has 2 wide receivers in front of him to throw the ball. They throw the ball to the 6'6", 260-pound monster, and he catches the ball with the safety. He caught both of them. I was like, this guy's incredible, bro. Holy crap. I'm sorry. I like Luke Musgrave, but Jesus, move out of the way, dude. I want this guy on the Packers next year. He's insane.
All right. So looking at it, Josh Jacobs, he had 62 yards. 49 of his 62 yards came after contact.
Dude, he had a really, really, really underrated game against the Cardinals, in my opinion.
He
thought
ground out the tough
had yards
sure.
before contact, like per attempt. But I mean, you essentially have 18 carries. He had 13 yards that were before contact. So you're talking majority of plays. He's
less
probably
than
getting
1
less
yard
than
per
1
carry.
yard before he's being contacted.
Holy shit!
We need to get better at run blocking.
Yeah.
I will say there was one of the 2 snaps or whatever that Jenkins came in for Myers. There was a very obvious Jenkins snapped the ball and completely cleared out the defensive tackle or whatever. And I think it was Wilson that got the carry. It was just a huge valley. I was like, okay, that looks a little bit different than what we've seen. And you see just Jenkins just clearing the defensive line. I was like, that'd be nice. So
Justin wants to draft Ashton Genty next year.
We don't need him.
I mean, we still got to see what the backfield looks like with Marshawn Lloyd back.
Yeah.
I want to draft him just because of the way he stands in the backfield, bro. That's just terrifying.
Just stand there like a ref waiting for the play to start. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about 82% of his yards being after contact. I think we can cut Josh Jacobs a little slack. Justin said, let him return kicks. Darian said, as good as Josh Jacobs has been running the ball, I just feel we need to get him in the end zone more. And
who gets in the end zone as long
exactly. If we're scoring 34 points, you know, it is what it is. Maybe we can get.
He did a really good job in the pass catching game this game.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe we can get him really well receiving touchdown this coming week. John said Jacobs looks fully back to his 2022 form. I agree with that.
Yes, he does.
We just need to get our line there.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is there's still room for improvement. That's where you guys keep saying, like, I feel like the offense has another level. Like, we keep talking about it. They can still be better, and they're already really good.
Okay. So the 2 things that I think, and JR is kind of alluding to it too, the 2 things that I think could be better is Josh Jacobs getting into the end zone, having more space to run, and Wicks actually breaking out and looking like late season Wicks last year. Those are the 2 levels that I'm talking about that can unlock this offense to unreal levels, dude.
Yeah.
If we get both those things, who the hell are you guarding? Who are you guarding at that point?
I can't wait until we have plays where we're running 4 wide of Dobbs, Reed, Watson, and Wicks all on the outside. Like, and then we just got to be pushing the panic button at that point.
It's unstoppable, dude.
All right. Jake, how did the Packers do on 3rd and 4th down?
They did really good. 7 of 12 is fantastic. I talked last week. They came into this game 23 of 62. That's not going to cut it. So after this game, they get to 30 and 74. So you're trending in the right direction. So over 50%. Love that. 3 of Jordan Love's 4 touchdown passes were on 3rd down. The one to Reed was on a 3rd and 5. The first one to Dobbs was on a 3rd and 5. The second touchdown to Dobbs was a 3rd and 4. We're going to get into Jordan Love in a second, but what the fuck? And then we're going to talk about I want to talk about the 4th down conversion. Jordan Love. Okay. So I'm just going to have a little short discussion about Jordan Love right now. This is what makes good quarterbacks to elite quarterbacks different. All quarterbacks have strong arms. Pretty much every quarterback in the NFL can run now. They all have some sort of athletic ability. There's some that have less than others, obviously. Jordan Love's a pretty athletic guy. He's a big, strong kid. He's got a strong arm. He can laser some balls in there, right? But to have the touch on 4th down to lay a ball over 2 people and have the wherewithal and to have the patience to see the play before it happens, see Watson break, know that there's 2 Arizona Cardinals sitting there and be like, yeah, I'm fucking throwing this, dude. And just lay it over him like, yeah, suck it. 4th and 1, we're going to take 22. How's that feel? What? Are you kidding me right now? Oh my goodness. Also, I'm just gonna say this: if I was teaching my son to be a quarterback, no way in hell am I showing him Jordan Love highlights. No way. He just sidearms and fadeaways and everything. I'm like, what am I watching right now?
Oh, that's funny.
It comes back to bite him sometimes, but he makes some pretty impressive throws.
Dude, that fadeaway to Dobbs. I'm like, what the fuck?
Let me say this.
People are saying he got lucky on that. That was a perfectly thrown ball to the outside of that pylon.
Yep.
Like, and he's trusts his guy and he gave him 50-50 chance. It was perfectly thrown ball.
Yep. We'll put a pin in it. We'll come back to it. You mentioned it can get him into trouble sometimes. It does. It did in the first drive. The first trip started at the 9-yard line. I think there was a play that he threw an incomplete pass towards Watson. I think he could have checked it down to Josh Jacobs. Yeah. The announcers brought it up too. If you check that ball down to Josh Jacobs, he's got one-on-one with a DB, I think. I don't think it was a linebacker, but you're giving your guy who we just talked about having 80% of his yards after contact in a one-on-one situation. So I think
he would have had a one-on-one situation for the touchdown, I think.
What's that?
Wouldn't he had a one-on-one situation for the touchdown? He just had to get past that guy. Yeah.
Yep. And the next play ended up being a touchdown to Jaden Reed anyways. So it didn't really end up mattering. Second trip into the red zone started with an illegal use of hands. So they went from the 12-yard line to the 22-yard line. Had a play to Jaden Reed for 7 yards. And the neutral zone infraction, which got them to the 10. And Dobbs got his first touchdown on the next play. Third trip, they started at the 20-yard line. They had a short play to the Reed, and then they were at 3rd and 6 at the 18-yard line. Love tried a kind of a tight window throw to Christian Watson that I thought could have been pass interference. Looked like the contact was early on that ball near the pylon, but it wasn't, and then they got a field goal out of it. Fourth trip, they had a 3rd and 4 at the 20-yard line, and that's the Love to Dobbs touchdown, which we will just circle right back to in just a second. But the fifth trip, they get credited for a red zone trip for this when they were just kneeling the ball down at the end of the game. It's kind of annoying. So they were technically 3 for 5 in this game, but it was more like 3 for 4.
Yeah.
And got a field goal on the other one. So the fourth trip is where the touchdown to Romeo Dobbs happened. And Justin just said it goes back to Reed and Dobbs ball tracking. And I made a post about this. And somebody was like, what do you mean that's not a crazy throw? Because I said it's not a crazy throw. And it's a crazy platform to throw off of, but it's not like he was throwing it in between. It's not like the play to Watson. That's a crazy throw.
Yeah, that was nuts.
The one that he threw to Dobbs, that was a trust ball. Not a trust fall, a trust ball. And we've talked about this, and I commented this on John's show earlier. People wanted Aaron Rodgers to take some more chances like Brett Favre used to. Jordan Love is doing that. He's throwing up a ball that's like, all right, hey, I got Romeo Dobbs on my team. I trust him to go get this ball. So I'm going to put it up where, maybe the defender can make a play on it. But so can Romeo Dobbs. Like we saw Romeo Dobbs already moss a dude from the Colts earlier this year.
Yep.
I trust Romeo Dobbs to go up and get a 50-50 ball.
Oh, yeah. He's the best hands catcher on this team.
He sure is. And that's just Jordan Love putting trust in Romeo Dobbs. So that was my thought on that. So, Bryant, what are your thoughts on Jordan Love?
Yeah, what a great game. I mean, he looked like himself. I think there was one bad throw all game, and that wasn't even bad. It went for completion. He could probably, he falls back a little more than he should when he's throwing the ball. So that will cause him to miss a few throws. But he makes up for it by the really good throws he makes. He trusts his wide receivers. I get it that the one against Wicks against the Vikings wasn't a smart decision. But you know what? Because he does one like that, he also does this one where it ends up as a touchdown for Romeo Dobbs. The interception certainly was not his fault. Bo Melton slipped. But overall, I thought he protected the ball so well. I thought there was a couple really tough runs by him to get the first downs and stuff. I just think that he showed more of himself towards the end of last year this time, and it's pretty exciting.
Justin said part of being a gunslinger is spraying and praying. They aren't all bullseyes. Yeah. Hey, I'm not opposed to that.
I feel like he's a more careful gunslinger, though. I think he's a calculated gunslinger.
Wow. Who does that sound like a mix of?
Yeah.
Calculated gunslinger. That is fun to think about.
Yeah.
Jake, what are your thoughts on Jordan Love?
Honestly, I think Bryant just created a meme, dude. That's good. We better make that before somebody else does. Nobody else tell anybody else that we're making this because that was good.
Can we get like the numbers on his head from like Hangover and then like a bullseye down the
Calculated gunslinger. We'll see what we can come up with. Justin said even John Wicks missed a few shots.
That's true.
I'll say this. The first thing I wrote down is something that Brian said. That's why I smiled. I wrote down Jordan Love is back. He looked like Jordan fucking Love. He got his patented third down pickup with his legs. So he's just going to continue to do that, I guess, every week. So I'm okay with that. And the throws that he makes, man, I mean, he's just sidearm and everything on the run off one leg. He's just, looking at the bird in the sky and then throwing across the field. I'm like, I'm like, dude, I'm just going to sign up for 3 hours of this and whatever the hell happens, happens. Now, the interception that happened was absolutely not his fault. Okay. I'm going to say that. I wanted to say the interception, not Jordan Love's fault. Bo Melton just slipped and he knew it. And it is what it is. It happens.
That's how timing works. That ball is not thrown at Bo Melton. It's thrown where Bo Melton is going to be. Yeah. And Bo Melton just wasn't able to get there. It's not like we need to criticize Bo Melton for being like terrible receiver or anything. Happens. It was wet. Shit happens.
If Bo Melton doesn't slip there, that's probably going to be a perfect throw, and it is what it is. Just his Love's ability, I think his feel for the game is a little bit underrated. I think his ability just to feel when to make a certain throw and then just throw it is just amazing. That 44-yard touchdown that he threw to Watson was fucking beautiful.
Man. We got to talk about it.
I'm watching the game with my son, and my son's like, "Why was that safety jogging?" I'm like, "Listen, Aiden, there's levels. There's levels in the NFL, and some guys are so fast they make fast people look not fast, and that is what Christian Watson is." I was like, "Do you remember when he got chased down by DK Metcalf? DK Metcalf's pretty fast. Not that Budda Baker is slow by any means. I'm not saying that, but Christian Watson is in an elite tier with speed."
Justin said it's all getting cooked.
He just ran right by him, and Budda Baker was like, "Yeah, dude, this is probably a touchdown." So, and what a perfect throw by Jordan Love, right in stride, breadbasket. I'm like, "Oh damn, dude, we are whooping that ass."
That is an underrated throw. I commented to this, John. I don't know if you're still watching. I commented to this on John's show too. That's an underrated throw for him to have made because he wasn't just putting it directly in line of where Christian Watson was running on his post. He put it 4 yards that way to have Watson curve away from the defender.
Yeah, that was a perfect throw, dude.
Yeah. Adarian said, when I watch Jordan Love, I find myself wondering if I'm seeing Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre 2.0 out there at times.
You're seeing Jordan Love.
He's got both.
Yeah, let him be himself.
I think he has the mannerisms of Rodgers, but he has the brain of Brett Favre. That's literally how I'd phrase it. Because sometimes when he throws, he does look like Rodgers. I'm like, holy shit. Like the fake handoffs and stuff. I'm like, damn.
He learned from Rodgers.
That's Black Aaron Rodgers, bro.
You know who else he learned from? We need to build a statue.
Tom Clements.
Yeah.
That's why I'll go off this a little bit. That's why I can't stand when people hate on Aaron Rodgers. I get he's not a Packer anymore, but he literally set us up for success by helping this dude and being a good friend to him while he sat behind him for 3 years.
And he still talks good about us.
He talks
good about the Packers all the time.
Yep.
I will do everything I can to be in the stadium when we put his name on the ring on.
Dude, same, dude.
Yeah,
I might pay $1,000.
Still the greatest player in our franchise's history.
Yep.
Okay. On Jordan Love, what I really liked, he was showing some swagger in the second half. You saw him getting up after the penalty that he got for Barnes tapping his helmet while he was sliding. Mm-hmm. He got up and he's got a big smile on his face and he's pointing and he's showing some swagger. Like, dude, Jordan Love already plays with swagger. If he starts showing it in between plays and stuff like that and starts,
that might go back to him and Chris Barnes being really good friends too. And Jordan Love said after the game, he laughed about it. Like, that should not have been a penalty. I don't know what they're doing.
By the rule, don't touch the quarterback while he's sliding.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it looked worse in real time, but it was basically just Barnes two-hand tapping his helmet while he was sliding. But don't touch the quarterback while they're sliding. That's the rule.
Yeah, that's just dumb.
JR said, I love it that he's drawing defense off sides with free plays. Man, he did that 4 times?
Why did they not let him throw that first one? It's so frustrating, and it's something they've done it to a lot of quarterbacks. They've done it to Aaron Rodgers several times, or a few times this year. They've done it to other quarterbacks, and like, what the heck are you doing?
I think it
must be a
comes
player
down,
safety thing.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's like I think it's all based on the offensive line.
But the offensive line did not move, they snapped the ball.
And that's the thing, is if anybody on the offensive line doesn't treat it like a live rep, they'll blow it dead every time.
But they did. They snapped it and they were blocking, and then all of a sudden they blew it dead. I was just like so confused. Go back and watch it.
I'd have to watch it again.
It was the perfect free play. Like they got it off. They were blocked up. Jordan Love's looking downfield. Jaden Reed's about to bust wide open, and then they call it dead.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question, honestly.
I'll have to watch it again and see if I can figure something out. Justin said, God bless Tom Clements. Absolutely. Jordan Love, 0 turnover-worthy plays in this game, which you'll love to see that. He was 17 of 23 with 3 touchdowns on plays. He was kept clean, 5 for 9 when under pressure. Had the 1 touchdown, which was obviously the second touchdown to Romeo Doubs. He was 7 for 10 in play action, 70%. Love that. And then he was 15 of 22 in pure passing situations. That is 68.2%. So 0.8% away from where you'd like to see him. But JR said that then he's getting better at getting 12 men on the field with the defensive substitutes. Absolutely. We all know who was really good at that. Now, Jordan Love's played 4 games. Do you two, either one of you, know where Jordan Love ranks in passing touchdowns?
Second.
Yeah. Jordan Love is second in passing touchdowns in 4 games, while basically everybody else has played 6.
Averaging 3 a game.
So we have to bring it up because Dustin was very excited before. First Packers quarterback since Brett Favre, 1995, to have back-to-back home games of 4 passing touchdowns. He has 10 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks, dude. That's insanity. There it is.
Since Favre. That's crazy to think that Aaron Rodgers never had back-to-back 4 touchdown games.
Well, he would just throw for 6 in the first half, and then he would only throw for 2 the next game.
Justin, do you want to guess who's first? It's probably not who you think it is.
I think he knows it. That's why he's rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, right?
No.
South.
Baker Mayfield.
It's Baker Mayfield.
It is Baker. Love is tied with Joe Burrow right now.
Okay.
For touchdowns.
Look, Tampa Bay's looked really good. So.
Their offense
is good. He scored 51. He should be first.
Yeah. They're not going to be an easy out.
No, dude. Falcons and Bucs games are going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, those games are going to be 49-48.
Yeah, they are. They're going to be so fun to watch, dude.
No, it's not Jaden Daniels, Reggie.
Maybe total
in the top 10, though, I think. Okay, so let's move into the preview. And, Brian, you can tell me what you're looking for from the defense.
Yeah, so the linebackers are going to have to have a good game. They're going to have to be ready for, like I talked about earlier, Mixon is going to bounce a lot of carries outside. He's very involved in the screen game. And then their tight ends Dalton Schultz is a very good tight end as well. If Wale is on the field, they need to be ready for a screen pass. That dude has he's ran the ball 21 times, but he has 16 targets. So if Wale, or however you say that,
Wale.
Dude, I'm so glad he played for the Badgers. I would suck at that name so bad, dude.
Wale. Okay, so if Wale is on the field, they're going to throw it to him probably. Yeah. So I just need the linebacker. CJ's not going to run that much, but he can run when needed. So I feel like we'll be able to get after him a little bit. I'm hoping we see some linebacker blitzes. I'll talk about that a little bit later on in an X factor, but I feel like they need to have a big game here and just, slow down these screens and these outside runs.
Reggie said he's predicting 3 sacks from his boy LVN. Love that. Would love that. Yeah, it's Dare Goombawale. JR said at the end of the year, McKinney and Williams will be the best dual safety in the league. I know it's early. Could be. I mean, 6 weeks in, if you're talking a third of the season, I mean, right now, nobody's going to disagree with you.
Yeah, they got to be in the conversation right now. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, Xavier McKinney's in conversation for the best safety in the league on his own, and then we're talking Evan Williams being one of the steals of the draft. So there's that. Jake, what are you looking for from the defense against Houston?
Yeah, so on third down, we're really going to have to be on our P's and Q's, man, because Stroud is really known for his accuracy, so he's not going to miss throws if he sees open guys. I think we're going to have to bring a lot of pressure this game, and that moves me right into the pass rush. Stroud is a guy that really isn't known to be able to be a runner, but he is very, very smart. I meant to say he's not known for his athletic ability. He can run. He's not known for his athletic ability, his escapability. But he is a bigger guy, so we're going to have to pressure him. I think he does hold the ball a little bit. There's going to be more on that later. I looked up some stats for you. And then in terms of red zone defense, really the only thing I can say is bend, don't break, right? Let's have another week of a 1 for 3 or, a 2 for 4. Hopefully they don't get in there 6 times, but I like a 2 for 6 or 3 for 6. If that's the case, just hold them to field goals, don't allow touchdowns, and you give yourself a chance to win.
Reggie's saying for real, Gary's going to have a game. Justin said Packers will be a top 3 defense. I said it in preseason. We'll see. There's still levels to it. For me, looking at the defense has 24 missed tackles versus the run in 6 games.
Ooh.
That's about 4 a game, which isn't bad, especially when you consider the fact that they face Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, the combination of Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears, and then Aaron Jones and Kyron Williams and James Conner.
It's actually a pretty good slate of running backs.
That's a gauntlet of running backs.
Pretty good. Wow.
So when you break it down that way, 4 a game doesn't seem so bad.
Yeah.
Now, only 7 of those have come from the defensive line. So they've tackled well. The next step is to see them disrupt a little bit more. We've seen the linebackers get in there a little bit. I want to see a guy like Kenny Clark get in the backfield and blow up a running play. TJ Slayton has done that a couple times. We've seen Colby Wooden and Carl Brooks in spurts as well. So looking to see if the D-line can keep building on that with what they've done in the passing game and do it in the running game. So, Bryant, we got some things going on here. Let's talk special teams moving forward.
So we finally we made the change because Nervous Narvison, just like we said, he just missed another one. So everyone that put it this way, last year everyone wanted Carlson gone, right? He missed 6 field goals in the whole season, and he had like 5 extra point misses, which were bad. But Narvison had already missed 5 field goals this year. He was 35th in the league in kicking percentage. There's 32 teams. That means he's worse than some teams' backups. Our secondary
the Cardinals and 49ers, injury fill-ins, and the Giants have an injury fill-in.
So he just was not good. So I had this nice long list of people we could have traded for, but instead we went and signed McManus. I'm not a huge fan of the signing because of the personal things. I felt like it wasn't the best time to introduce some more questions into the locker room after we just got over the Romeo Dobbs stuff. Whether or not he was found, not enough evidence or whatever, people are going to say what they're going to say, So we'll see. I mean, there's a serial harasser that's starting quarterback and making a couple $100 million a year. So I guess they can probably focus on him versus a kicker. However, just talking about it as a Packers standpoint, as a player standpoint, this is the move that needed to be had unless we're going to trade for somebody. So let's get a little bit into McManus's stats here, okay? So McManus in his career from 20 to 29 is 66 for 70, which is 94.2%. From 30 to 39, he made 70 of 75 kicks, which is 93.3. Put that in perspective, we've already missed 2 kicks this year in that range. From 40 to 49, he's 72 of 84 so 85.7%. And then where his percentage dips is from 50 plus. So in his career, it's 45 out of 82, so 54%. What that all accumulates to is from 49 yards and in his career, he has a 92.5, it was like 90% from 49 yards and in. Last year, everyone's like, well, look how much he struggled with the Jaguars. Well, from 49% and in, or 49 yards and in, he was 92.5%. The Packers have not been in a situation where they tried one 50-yard field goal or longer this year.
part of that is also Narvison.
Part of it, a little bit of part of it, Narvison, but I feel like there really hasn't been too many times where they're going to be kicking in that situation that I can think off the top of my head where we passed up a longer field goal.
They've also played the field position game a little bit too, which I'm usually fine with.
So the point being that this dude, we can expect him to hit between 85 and 90% of his kicks from 49 yards and in. If we had that on our team last year, there's a very good chance we'd beat the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Also, McManus won a Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl winning kicker.
Yep.
He has kicked in those situations.
Yep.
So say what you will about what happened last year. It's not great optics. Hopefully there's some stipulations that Packers or maybe he needs. I know apparently when this happened he was drinking. He was cleared by the NFL, so maybe they get him in some kind of program to make sure he's clean and he's getting the support. But yeah, Todd says it perfectly. Unfortunately, we got in a position where this is kind of a necessary move. This team has a chance. We are a team that's ascending, and we have a chance to win a Super Bowl. You do not want to miss out on that because you have a rookie kicker that you wanted to. They had a lot of patience with him.
Yeah.
They had a lot of patience with him.
When you bring up that he's got as many missed kicks in 6 games as Carlson had all of last season, that's
short of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I feel like it had to be done. Other things for special teams that I want to talk about going into this game, though. So we'll see McManus, but there's other things that's at play here, I think. So the Houston, you guys want to take a gamble or a guess, knowing that there hasn't been many kick returns this year? How many kick returns Houston has allowed?
14.
0.
In 6 games.
14.
You said 0, Tyler?
I said 0.
17.
Oh, I was so close. Damn it.
So they've allowed 7. However, I think they're doing this by strategy, so they might change up their strategy because Fairburn's a very good kicker. Because with those 17 kicks, the average return, they're only allowing at 23.8 yards. So they're actually saving themselves about 6 yards a drive. However, Nixon is a little bit of a different beast. So in my opinion, if they want to let him return, I say do it. Well, go ahead and let him return. I'll take the loss.
If we get into a situation where they're kicking the ball off, say 5 times, and 3 of them he gets stopped behind the 25-yard line, and the other one we're starting at the 50, I
hope they're not kicking that many times because I don't want them to score. But
I'm thinking beginning of the game, some field goals.
But we could see some returns from Keyshawn this game. So.
All right, so I'm going to jump back before I talk about the coaching. Harry, that's my bad, said 49ers fan here. What do you guys think of Adrian Amos?
He's full of himself?
He's reliable, but he got old. He's
a smart player, lost a step.
He was, in his early years with us, he was always in the right position. But he can make those plays, but he's not going to go, he's not what we see in Xavier McKinney or these other really good safeties like Tyron, where they make plays happen. Okay, so you can probably count on him if he's the second safety to kind of be where he needs to be, but he's not gonna make any crazy plays.
Yeah, reliable.
Did they sign them? They must have signed him today, huh?
Yeah, because I think Hufanga got hurt.
Oh no, again.
Damn, man. That guy's so talented, but he seems to have problems.
Reminds me of Derwin James.
Yeah, that's sad, actually.
Yeah. All right. So looking at the coaching part of this, I'm actually going to mention something that the Texans coach, D'Amico Ryans, said, and that is that Jordan Love is the best quarterback the Texans will have faced this year. So love that, especially given the fact that the Texans have played the Bills.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, bro, they played Josh Allen.
Between the lines.
9 for 30 against them.
Yeah. Yep. Between the lines, D'Amico Ryans was saying that Jordan Love is a better quarterback than Josh Allen.
I mean, are we ready to have that conversation?
I don't think so, but I mean, if D'Amico Ryans is saying it, I think it's probably more.
If you watched the game last night, there's a couple plays that, I mean, I don't think it's like crazy difference, but there was a couple plays that Josh Allen makes last night. You're like, what the hell just happened?
Josh Allen brings a whole nother dynamic with his running. So there's that.
He's
just the fact that that's even something a coach would say in an interview.
Yeah.
If you wanted to say thrower of the ball, I could make that argument.
I could hear that because Josh Allen is definitely turnover prone. I should edit that to say Jordan Love is the best quarterback they will face all year. I mean, we'll see.
They probably play Kansas City.
I don't know if they do, but that's funny.
I mean, better than any quarterback in their division. That's for damn sure.
Oh my goodness.
So
Trevor Lawrence, bum.
I wanted to bring that up because the same is true for CJ Stroud and the Packers. Stroud has been the best combo of mobility and ability that Green Bay has faced, which makes me wonder which half they will key on. Are they going to be, pass rushing to try to disrupt Stroud's, passing prowess, or will they be playing the contained type of defense that they've played most of this year? So that's what I think, based on what they've done with the containing of the mobile quarterbacks. Are they going to make sure that Stroud, doesn't have, time to escape the pocket and continue looking downfield like we've seen Jordan Love do? Or are they going to be like, no, we're going to try to give CJ Stroud the lowest amount of time possible and send a bunch of guys on the blitz? So that's what I'm looking for. Going into the offense, Bryant, what are you looking for from the Packers offense against the Texans defense?
Yeah, so the offensive line has their they better be, pull up their bootstraps this game. They got a tough, dangerous pass rush coming at them. With Will Anderson, they got Danielle Hunter, and then they also have Denico Autry coming back this game. So
Mario Williams though.
Yeah, so the O-line will need to protect because this team is very hard to pass against. So they're only allowing 163 passing yards a game, with a abysmal 53.3% completion percentage against. So if the offensive line can protect Jordan Love enough, that should allow him more time to find some open wide receivers. Luckily, we have very good wide receivers as well. Aside from that, they're also only allowing 113.8 yards per game in the rushing game. However, they are allowing a 4.6% average. So I think, unfortunately, we haven't had our best run blocking yet. This will be a hell of a week to turn that around, because if we can run the ball against them, it's going to make everything so much easier. They have allowed 20-plus points per game in all but one contest, and that was when they played the Bears, who the second week of the season are not the same offense as they are right now. So I think the Packers can score. They just need to be disciplined. I don't think this is a game where you can win if you're turning the ball over. You need to win the battle. As for the wide receivers, Houston has a very strong secondary. Obviously, we're talking about the yards per game they give up. They'll have to be disciplined and clean with their breaks and be looking for maybe some quicker passes. However, I will say this is the most penalized team in the NFL. Houston is. So they lead they have 4 pass interferences against them. They have an illegal contact, and then they have 6 defensive holdings against them. They're averaging like 70. I think they give up like 77 yards per game in penalties. So that.
70.
Oh, okay, it's 70.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, there's pretty heavily penalized teams. So I'm hoping the wide receivers know that coming in. They will know that because our coaches will tell them that. So they're probably going to say fight like hell through contact, make it, don't flop, but make sure it's knowing that if your hands, they have hands all over you and stuff. So this is where it becomes very important. If the O-line can protect, I think the secondary is going to struggle eventually to, maintain coverage, and that where you could see some penalties called and stuff like that. Not saying that I want to win the game by penalty, but if it's a weakness for them, you fight through that and you make it exploit and you make it hurt them.
Team ranking says 71.5 penalty yards per game.
So it's hard.
And 8.5 penalties a game. That's wild.
So that's a really good point to bring up, because we went against the Cardinals, who were the least penalized team in the league last going into last week, and then they end up with what, 11, 12? They have like 11.
I thought it was 12. Yeah.
Just pray we don't have Monday Night Football's reffing stat.
Jesus. But then you have the Texans coming in, who are the most penalized teams. That's a really good point to bring up. I'm just going to jump into offense real quick, Tyler. So third down offense last week, they did fantastic. I said that they were over 50%. So awesome job there. One thing I also wanted to note, Tyler brought it up earlier. Time of possession, 36-23. That's a beautiful number. They ran 70 total plays. They had 38 rush attempts and 32 pass attempts. I mean, Tyler and I are going to talk about the Badgers tomorrow, who've also had great balance lately. So if the Packers and Badgers can continue to have good balance, continue to play good defense, chef's kiss.
Todd's replying to Justin saying Mahomes is not it this year. They're still undefeated, so I mean they got that. JR said if the Vikings can beat him, then we have nothing to worry about. He's just kidding. This is going to be a good football game. That's the bottom line. So regardless of what happens on the ending, and we're going to give our score predictions here in a minute. Regardless of what happens, as Packers fans, we want the Packers to win. But I just want to say, enjoy this football game. This is going to be a great football game. There's going to be people all over the country who do not give a shit about the Texans or the Packers watching this game because it's going to be a good football game.
And the Packers are going to look icy, boy. Wear white to the game. Man. Wear white. They want to white out. Wear
done
white.
That in a night game, man. It looks so good under the lights.
Yeah. This game had Sunday Night Football written all over it. Two young superstar quarterbacks.
I'm shocked at the noon game.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
It could be where I think each broadcast, they get to no, I want this specific game this week, and they get to choose, and that's how it doesn't end up a night game or something like that. So some of the day broadcasts, they get to choose specific games they want.
And that's CBS is this week. That's why.
Yeah, I think
if they were Fox, I think Fox can flex it because I think they have Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I think the 325 game on Fox was like a big banger, if I remember correctly.
They flexed Bears.
It's Chiefs 49ers before the game of the week on Fox.
They flexed Bears and Commanders to Sunday Night Football.
Yeah. And they're not going to take.
Are we so serious right now?
That's the number 1 and the number 2 picks.
Oh, my God. I don't give a shit. We got 2 actual good quarterbacks in this game. Not 1.5.
Wait, what happened? I missed something.
Adarian said, I hate the fact that this wasn't prime time. We all do.
So dumb.
All right. So for me, looking at the offense, the passing game distribution, just keep everyone involved. Last week was perfect. Jaden Reed talked about the more plays they run, the more opportunities that everybody has. Last week, all 3 of the wide receivers ate, and all 3 of them scored. And Wicks, who left early, like I said, still had 3 targets. So looking at it, Reggie said I'm mad pissed. That's why I asked about the switch. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. We'll have a good football game at noon, and then you can turn your TV off at 7:00. So, looking at the red zone, there is
I'm going to absolutely watch Jaden Daniels outplay Caleb Williams. So.
That would be funny. I'm on board. Still an opportunity for the Packers to improve in the red zone. They're getting better, and they've been better at home than on the road. But I'd like to continue striving for that 60% mark at least. So if they can get a 3 for 5 this week, Houston allows 68.75% on red zone touchdown percentage. That's 28th in the league. So Houston, they have some good defenders, but they allow a lot of touchdowns. If you round it up, 69% of the time, their opponents are in the red zone, they score touchdowns, which is really nice for the Packers. So looking at it, we can get into some matchups. JR has given his score prediction. We're going to get there just now, but let's get to Bryant first with the injury designations to watch.
Yeah, so Reed and Myers both left the game banged up, but I think they should be fine. Myers came back in for the field goal try. Reed, I think they kind of kept him off, but I think that was more of a fact that we were absolutely killing him.
I think he came back and then just didn't play as much after that.
So Wicks, his day-to-day, we'll see how that is. As much as I would like to think that Wyatt could return this week, I think what's going to happen is, if anything, we see him return to practice this week, and they'll kind of do what they did with Watson. He probably needs to get a week of practice in after missing a couple weeks before he plays. And if he does play, he won't be a full goal. So we'll have to see about that. And then for the Texans, obviously they lost Nico Collins to IR. That's a huge loss for them. Nico Collins is an amazing wide receiver. Tunsil hurt his ankle in this last game. We'll have to kind of keep an eye on that. And then that Tuoto got a concussion, so we'll see how quick he bounces back. And I think you said something maybe came out with Mario Williams. He won't be playing.
Mario Edwards. I mean, wrong Mario. But Mario Edwards, I believe he is also going to IR.
Yeah, okay. So that's another big loss on their defensive line. But they're getting, like I said, they're getting the one pass rusher back this week too. So, so they're adding and taking away. We'll just have to keep an eye on the injury report tomorrow.
Just wanted to confirm that he was going to IR, but I thought he said they were missing at least this week. Oh, no, he's not on IR. He got suspended for substance abuse.
Oh,
who is that?
Mario Edwards.
Yep. Yeah.
They just get one back and they lose the other one to substance abuse.
Yep.
Something in the water in Houston. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
They should piss test them all right before our game and see who else they can suspend.
Right. Todd, I'm going to say this. Don't take it the wrong way. Jaden Reed's not our number one wide receiver. He's one of our number one wide receivers.
And if you were here at the beginning, you would have heard us talk about that.
Yeah, we did talk about
Shame on you. I'm just kidding.
But
yeah, we talked about taking him off.
He stays injured. I'd be surprised if he plays the whole game. They'll probably try to mix in their other guys, and I'm assuming that Dameon Pierce is going to be available if they just traded Cam Akers to the Vikings, who, if they have Aaron Jones, what do they need another running back for?
Yeah. A running back that they had on their roster last year and didn't resign, that they just gave a pick for.
But
something in the water is called lean.
Rather have
True
him instead of Josh Jacobs.
Leonard Tunsil is their dealer.
Jake, what's the weather going to be like for the people wearing white?
Yes, you are all wearing white on Sunday. Do you hear me? White. All
if you're
wearing
going
white.
To the game, wear white.
Sunday, October 20th. Got to give a shout out to my cousin Tish. Most people know my government name of Josh. It's his birthday on Sunday, so happy birthday. A few passing clouds, otherwise generally sunny, high of 69.
Nice.
Dude, I was like, no way. I'm telling you, these 69 stats just find us.
I don't like it, dude. I was hoping that it would be like, this is the one I would want the crappy weather for.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I sat through my son's game today, and I was freezing my balls off. It was like 51 degrees. I was like, yeah, fuck that, dude. 69 is like nice. Wind southwest at 10 to 15.
It's all about manifesting, right?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Bryant, what's your matchup to watch?
So I put our slot cornerback, whoever it might be, versus Tank Dell. I think if they're gonna, if we can slow down that position, we can slow down this offense a little bit. I think that's gonna be a key spot for us to see how Bullard or whoever goes against. I think the first real good slot cornerback they're gonna see so far this year, or well, in the last couple games, I should say, since they made the change.
Yeah. I was saying, when you said that before and you were like, they haven't really faced an explosive slot receiver, I was like, they played Devontae Smith week 1. But that's
and they played Jordan Addison. Yeah. So,
all right, Jake, what's your matchup to watch?
So talking about Sunday night football games and talking about Josh Allen, there was a once upon a time where the Packers played a Sunday night football game against a Josh Allen-led team, and they had a wide receiver by the name of Stephon Diggs. And Jair Alexander and Stephon Diggs were must-watch TV, not just when they were going against each other on routes, but in the tunnel, after plays, during plays. It was so much fun to watch. I'm going to be watching that this week. With no Tank Dell, as we keep saying. Well, no.
Nico Collins.
Nico Collins.
Without Nico Collins, I apologize. I wrote down the wrong name on my paper, too, and then I corrected myself.
Shame on you. You're fired.
With no Nico Collins, who really takes the top off the defense, Diggs is really going to be honed in. He's not really a deep threat anymore. He's more of a possession receiver, but he's very good at it, and he talks like he's the best receiver since Jerry Rice, which is amazing to me. But Jair is an all-time talker as well, so I got to be watching Ja versus Diggs.
I like that. JR said our O-line versus their pass rushers, for sure.
That would be a good one.
I went with Jeff Hafley versus CJ Stroud.
I like it.
So Houston is number 1 in red zone touchdown percentage at 75%.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And the weird thing is they're better on the road. On the road, their red zone touchdown percentage is 87.5%. So my matchup to watch there is if we can hold Houston to field goals in the red zone.
I like it.
All right. So Reggie gave us an early X factor. He said Bull Melton's going to be an X factor this week. Might be sneaky, but Bryant, who's your X factor?
So my X factor is Hafley, and that's Hafley versus, because I think is going versus Kenyon Green, who's there. I know that's a little bit of a matchup, but their offensive line is very good. However, they have one glaring weakness, and that's Kenyon Green at left guard. He's been not good in pass defense, and he's not been pass blocking or good in run blocking. I want them to run every stunt they possibly can with the linebackers, whoever at that guard, and try to get quick pressure up the middle against Stroud. I know the center is going to be, cheating that way, so that's where you want to bring that extra blitzer, so they're outnumbered there. That's what I'm hoping for.
Let me jump in here because my X factor is Kenny Clark, and I put in my notes that Houston has some somewhat inconsistent pass blocking. They've allowed 16 sacks in 6 games.
Yep.
So, and they've had some penalty problems, and you obviously talked about that at length.
17 sacks.
But against Buffalo, they had 16 pressures and 5 penalties. My X factor is going to be if Kenny Clark can play the disruptor.
Yeah, I think Davis Mills got sacked once or something, so it's 17. So that you're right on that. It's I honestly think they could target that left guard, and I hope that's where we see Quay Walker or Arjun Cooper rushing up the middle.
Yep, JR just said X factor will be Cooper.
Yeah, with maybe pinched by like LVN and Kenny Clark there, because I think Kenny Clark has a chance to please wake up and do something.
All right, Jake, who's your X factor?
My X factor is the Packers pass rush gets to CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud has a tendency to hold the ball. He is 22nd in time to throw when clean and 22nd in time to throw when pressured. His QBR when kept clean, 117.1. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
QBR when pressured, 64.3.
Damn.
That's bad.
That's a massive drop.
Completion percentage
when Fields in Chicago type numbers.
Dude, I'm telling you. His completion percentage when kept clean is 66.4. His completion percentage when pressured is 48.1.
Damn.
Get to CJ Stroud. Make him rattled. Like I said, he's not known for his athletic ability. Let the dogs eat today, baby.
Yeah. Justin said, I feel like this is a game where Preston Smith steps up. At least I hope so. I mean, I'm down for another Preston Smith 2-sack game this year.
Those are great numbers, Jake. And it's just crazy to think how much better we can be if they start our pass rush starts getting home.
I'm telling you.
Justin said his X factor is actually Whelan pinning their offense deep when needed. Field position is always important. It doesn't always get the love it deserves, but it's a really important part of the game.
I think Whelan's the X factor so that he never gets on the goddamn field because our offense is humming. That's where I would make Whelan the X factor.
Yeah. JR said it looks like no fly with those stats when pressured. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Absolutely.
Or he'll chuck one up because he's pressured, and Xavier McKinney will be. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
JR said Packers win 31-28. Bryant, give me your score prediction from the head.
So my head prediction is Packers 28-24.
Mine's 27-24.
What? 27-23. Oh, man, we're so close.
Damn. Well, no variance this week on that.
Wow.
Love that. Justin said I'm definitely picking the over this game. Yeah, I probably would. Bryant, what's your score prediction from the heart?
31-21.
All right. I'm going to be honest with you. For me, my heart prediction has both teams scoring more points. And I have 37-31.
Jesus Christ.
You should have went 37-32, but it's okay that you missed that.
Echo on Brian's heart prediction. I have 31-21 as well.
All right. Fun stuff. All right. So we don't have Simon to do the Simon Says, so we'll just have to kind of table this. But Brian, you usually go first, so you can pick offense or defense.
I'll pick offense. So kind of talking about the passing yards that they've given up. I've talked about that only 163 yards per game. I think the most they've given up in a game is 240. So I put my bold prediction is that Love throws for 300 yards.
Ooh.
I mean, I see it.
On the yards, I'm going to say no, just because we've seen like you have to go back all the way to the Colts game, but Houston can be gashed in the running game too.
Yeah.
So I could see lower yards and another potentially high touchdown game, which is where I have Jordan Love has his third straight 4-touchdown game at home.
That'd be sick. That'd be disgusting.
Okay, Tyler, I'm going to agree because you're going to like mine. Jordan Love, 5 touchdowns, each to a different wide receiver.
Damn.
Tell me in your brain you can't see that. Tell me in your brain you can't see him passing a touchdown to 5 different people.
Jacobs rush plays, I could definitely see it. If he doesn't, I think you can pick the 5 that it would have to be.
Yeah. Hey, JR, Jacobs rushed for like 156 or 158 yards week 2.
Yeah, against the Colts.
So maybe again, but yeah.
Yeah, you could say again. Okay. Before we get to our defensive ones, Reggie said the heart is 31-17, the head is 24-17. Justin said the head is 34-24, heart is 24-21. So Justin's analytical one likes to predict closer games than it does from the heart.
Dude, someone, I can't remember who it was, but someone in our chat last week said something like 37-13 or 34-14, something like that, and they were very close. I can't remember who it was. I'd have to go back and look.
Dude, we were all close on ours.
Yeah.
We were all within
bring it
9
up.
points.
So, what did you say? We were all within 5 points?
9 points.
9 points?
That's really not that bad on both.
Not bad. Justin said, Simon says the defense has 4 turnovers with 2 of them being interceptions.
I can see it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Bryant, let's go to you on defense.
I put the pass rush finally gets home and it's not a crazy number, but I just put 4 times this week, which would be a big number for us on the year.
I could see that.
Okay, you go ahead because I think you're going to laugh at mine.
Reggie said Jacobs 2 touchdowns and a Reed touchdown. That's definitely within the realm of possibility. Defensively, so I looked at it this way. CJ Stroud has 7 turnover-worthy plays this year and 4 interceptions. This week, 2 turnover-worthy plays and 2 interceptions.
I like it. Okay. I don't even know why I wrote this. I feel like I'm kind of a dickhead.
Hey, bold predictions, right?
Stephon Diggs has more sideline temper tantrums than touchdowns.
That's not even a bad prediction. It's just nonsense.
It is nonsense. I'm like, I got to write it. I'm thinking about it.
Oh, shit. No, that's perfect. That's a perfect way to end the show. All right. We appreciate everybody who spent a lot of times. Justin said the reverse end around comes out this game. That would be lit to have Bull Melton and Jaden Reed running that together, or Jaden Reed and Christian Watson. That would be a lot of fun. But again, we appreciate everybody taking the time to watch the show, comment along. We appreciate all the comments. That's why we do the shows live, so we can interact with all of these. It makes it more interactive. But that's why we do it like that, so that we can have these conversations. People can ask us questions, give us your predictions, your scores, like thoughts. We love that. That's why we do the shows live. So again, we appreciate everybody who takes the time to comment while we're doing these live on the Facebook and the YouTube side as well. Thanks, Reggie, for being on YouTube. And AFM commented earlier from YouTube as well. So thank you again for everybody commenting live, watching live. We will be breaking down some of the Packers-Cardinals plays later this week. And then again, we'll Justin said Tucker Kraft is running that end around. What do you mean? Yeah, no, he's going to stick to QB sneaks. Got to get that
Tucker
going.
Kraft passed to Jordan Love for a touchdown.
Dude, if Tucker Kraft throws a pass this week, I'm going to drive to Matt LaFleur's house and punch him in the dick because he's just fucking around at that point. But it would be fun. JR, thank you. And we will see you guys again next Tuesday, and Simon will be back for that. So go Pack, go. We'll see you guys next week.
Go Pack, go.